Okay, hey guys.
Hello.
Hola. All right. Hey everyone. Hope things have been going well. It's a lovely evening. I.e., I mean, with a lot of crappy weather, but I think that's the case for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Crappy weather, crappy controller driver issues, which this run will not have because it does not involve Steam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't run any PC games, but I've definitely had my fair share of controller issues when just playing casually, and it is very frustrating. I feel for you, Matt. It sucks. All right. So this is Sonic Advance 3. It's the third game of the Sonic Advance series on the Game Boy Advance. I'm actually playing this before I start. I'm actually playing this game on the your PAL version. Yes, there's Japanese text because you can set the text to Japanese because it's faster. For gameplay, in terms of pure gameplay, Japanese and PAL version are exactly the same, and I'm playing except for voices. And PAL version has English voice acting, which everyone loves. So that is the main reason I am going to be speedrunning this on PAL version. So yeah, I'm ready with the countdown.
Yep.
All right, three, two, one, go. All right, so Sonic Advance 3 is kind of a really unique Sonic game where it's kind of like Heroes where you have different kinds of team mechanics. You pick one character and then as your lead character and then a partner character. So for a good chunk of the run, I'm going to be using Tails and Sonic, which is a really powerful team and very fast. You directly control the lead character, but your partner character is what determines your tag action. So,
Yeah,
and with Sonic as my partner, I'm going to be using Sonic's tag action, and his tag action both in the air and on the ground is to give me a big boost of speed, basically.
yeah, you'd think that Tails would be really good for vertical mobility, but this team is actually best for horizontal mobility because Tails' flight goes up very slowly. But with Sonic, he's able to get a perfect speed tag action every time by setting up a pause and then releasing the tag action while he's paused. So that gives him ideal speed and is used throughout the run when he uses this team.
Yeah, there will be other teams I use frequently for through this run. This category is effectively 100%. I call it best ending. Basically, it involves getting all the Chaos Emeralds and then getting the true ending. And each zone has one Chaos Emerald you have to get. There are 7 zones. And to get a Chaos Emerald, I have to beat this special stage. To get to the special stage, I have to get a special key. To get a special key, I have to get all 10 Chao in the zone. The Chao can be spread through 3 acts of the zone. There can also be a Chao on the hub of the zone. Is there
Yeah,
no game
so
audio?
I don't know, but
There we go. Should be up.
okay. Basic idea is that he's going to be beating stages in such a way that he's able to collect the last Chow and the key in the same stage whenever possible. And whenever you get the last Chow, there are 2 places in every stage that the key can spawn, and that also factors into things.
Hmm. It's kind of interesting to route this category because you can actually do the 3 acts in any order you like. I actually just did Act 3 first and route in the first zone. That's because there's a Chao on the far right side of the hub that I got at the very start of the run, and the special stage is on the far left side. So I want to start from the right side and go left through the hub. So when I get the special key, I am right next to the special stage. So this is Act 2. Act 2 is very vertically oriented. This team is actually not a very good team for this stage. It's a pretty terrible team, but swapping teams costs a lot of real time in this game. So in a lot of cases, it's not worth swapping teams. And as Alec mentioned, this team is not that great for vertical mobility, even though I'm using Tails, just because flying is really slow and vertically.
Yeah, and he doesn't have most of the characters unlocked. If you're familiar with the all levels with time trial mode and having every character unlocked, there's a lot of use of different teams and use of those teams for specific levels. But right now, Sonic and Tails are the only characters he has access to. He's going to be unlocking other characters in the Gemerald stages. Gemerald obviously is a boss that you fight at the end of certain stages, and uh, as soon as he basically beats him, the game autosaves his progress, so he's going to be able to peace out right after doing those.
Mm-hmm. And also with the general stages that Alec mentioned, you have to beat the general stages with Sonic as your lead character. So in a few spots, I'm going to be swapping to Sonic as the lead character just for the purpose of unlocking the character. But that's not relevant until the next zone yet, because I can't unlock any characters in the first zone.
Yeah, he'll be getting Knuckles in the next area.
And unlocking all the characters, Knuckles, Cream, and Amy, is required because you actually cannot reach the best ending with just the Chaos Emeralds. You also have to unlock all the characters. Alright, so I made a really tight cycle here. You lose around 8 seconds if you miss the cycle. You have about 1 second of leeway. It really sucks, because if you miss this cycle, you miss 2 cycles of the platform after that, and it really sucks. So, really glad I got that. Whoop. And this is the last stage I'm doing in this zone. So this is going to be the last Chow here. Thankfully, as Alec mentioned, there are 2 possible locations of a special key from here on out, and it's random which one the game chooses. But thankfully, with the route I'm taking, I'm guaranteed to get a special key. That's just how the routing works out.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out this perfectly, and there's one in particular that he's going to have to be careful with. Others where there's going to be a certain amount of luck.
50%,
but
yeah.
Generally speaking, he's able to create the route in such a way that those are minimized.
Alright, so these are the special stages. The special stages are basically auto-scrollers. You can't directly speed them up. You can lose time if you're not careful, but there is, like, a very clear, you cannot go any faster than this.
Yeah, basically they're speed-up boosts, and you hit them, that's all you can speed it up, other than, not failing them.
And not pausing. I've done that on accident before. But yeah, these special stages aren't too bad, even despite the fact they're timed, because for me personally, when I run this game, playing this game for an extended period of time does cramp my hands a lot, because you're pretty much holding the R button like 80% of the time, because you're constantly using tag actions over and over and over again. And using a tag action requires holding the tag button for 1.5 seconds. So like, this is a really nice break for my hands to just kind of relax for a bit periodically. So I don't mind these. And also the music's really awesome in my opinion. So what I'm also going to be going for the ring attack world record on this special stage. The world record is 240 rings. There totally is not a 10-way tie on Sonic Center leaderboards. Actually, I'm not even sure if there's even 10 people who got 240. There is a multiple way tie though. Okay. And world record.
World record!
World record! Woo!
It's the 3rd world record this marathon.
Ideally, we'll see 3 world records in this run, because there are 3 special stages where you can relatively easily get the ring attack world record and tie it. All right, so now I'm gonna go straight to the boss, which is on the far right side of the hub. So I'm gonna fly all the way over there. Eggman has some pretty nice quotes every time you bop him. It's great. Oh, but at the start of this boss, you actually fight Gemerald. Gemerald in this game is basically the same guy as Emerald from Sonic Battle, except Eggman is like using him for evil purposes or whatever. I don't remember the exact story. It's not entirely relevant. Most of the Gemerald fights are actually random. This one is not random because his only attack is dashing at you.
It gets more random for each successive encounter just because he gets more available moves.
Yeah. Ow! Ow! So yeah, Tails when he flies has a hitbox way above him, so you can kind of just cheese Eggman like this. It's great. Just keep bopping him like this. You little... Ow! And I'm manipulating his AI to always slam into the center. He's always going to do that attack if we're below him. You're going to pay for this!
Pay for this!
Right, so this is actually a version difference right here. I actually lost around a second, around a second and a half to the American version, North American version. Basically, in the North American version of boss fights, when Eggman is off-screen, you immediately regain control of your character. That is not the case in the PAL and Japanese version of the game, so you actually lose around 1 to 2 seconds on average for most boss fights, which kind of sucks. But oh
yeah,
well.
the silly thing is that the physics are, for whatever reason, slightly different in the US version.
Oh god, my bot's accidentally on in chat. Oh god. I have a script that says "you little" every time someone says "you little," and I accidentally turned it on. Let's just keep it on. Everyone
Hey guys,
can have fun with it.
let's global him.
Alright, so I actually just did a team swap. Sonic and Tails is better suited for the zone. And in addition, Act 3 of this zone is a general stage, meaning I have to beat the stage with Sonic as a lead character to unlock Knuckles. So Tails has his own separate tag actions, where if you use his tag action on the ground, he throws Sonic up and high, which is really useful for height gaining. And if you use it in the air, then Tails just carries you. I like while flying. Oop. Timing these springs are kind of awkward.
I think you might get global mid-run, Kirby.
Oh, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. I missed a strat here. Okay. So it's kind of interesting, because like a lot of people sort of have a misconception that your lead character is what matters more, but in actuality, what determines how your team flows is your partner character, because tag action matters a lot more than what your lead character provides in most cases.
Oh god, change.org.
Oh god.
Wow.
Oh god, that change.org is great. That's been around for like 4 years now.
I did not know that was a thing.
It was a thing. Alright, I'm skipping Act 2 actually, because I want to do Act 2. I want to finish Act 2 last in this zone, because Act 2 is the only act where I can get a convenient special key location upon getting the last Chow. So this is Act 3, and again, this is the act where I need to beat it with Sonic as a lead character to unlock Knuckles. And this act is where you get a lot of mileage out of the vertical movement of the team, because this, if you look at the map for this act, it's a complete maze, basically. And like, if you fall down to certain spots, you pretty much have to start over the entire level. It's that kind of stage. In fact, I'm actually right by the end of the level right now, but like, you can't really go there unless you have an ability to fly or climb up walls. Which I do, but I need to get a Chow, so I can't take that massive shortcut.
So yeah. You wouldn't think that Sonic Tails would be the vertical team and vice versa, but that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's your partner that matters more than the lead character, actually. So Sonic as your partner is a lot better for horizontal movement. Tails as your partner is better for vertical movement. That was a perfect general pattern. All right.
I kind of want to read this. I can look past all the sellout stuff, but I cannot look past the Kirbymastah mod. I refuse to watch DSS's channel while Kirbymastah is still modded. Consider this a stream monster strike. Only once Kirbymastah is removed as mod will we return to his stream.
This is such a good one. Okay, I just did a reset because there's a cutscene where you just have to watch a cutscene with unlocking Knuckles, but the game saves you unlocking him at the start of that cutscene, so you can just skip it by doing a soft reset. And by doing that, I'm taking advantage of the soft reset by doing I basically get a free team swap out of that. And I'm gonna be team swapping to Knuckles and Tails. Knuckles and Tails is pretty much the same as Sonic and Tails, except you can't enter boost mode, but you can glide. That's pretty much the main difference. And you also have power attacks. Power attacks are important in a few spots because there are some barriers in the game that you can only destroy with power attacks, and you only have access to power attacks if Knuckles is on your team. Similarly to how you only have boost mode, you can only access boost mode if you have Sonic on your team. And there will be some power barriers I need to break in the next zone coming up. It's just very convenient to swap to this team right now.
Yeah, and in many cases he's not using the optimal team that he even has access to, just for reasons of overall routing versus stage-by-stage routing.
Yeah, there is a cool category, kind of a miscellaneous arbitrary category called All Stages, where you just go through every stage of time attack mode and you only use in-game time. It's probably my favorite category because like real time doesn't matter, meaning you can swap teams all you want. So all you care about is like the best team that you want to use for each stage specifically. And when I ran that category in HDQ 2015, 2016, I showcased 16 out of 20 teams, which is pretty insane.
It would have been 2015.
Yeah, it was 2015. Okay. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know, because that's the other one that I was at, other than this year's.
Alright, special stage time. But I actually ran the same category recently at AGDQ. And I haven't really played this game since, except for like 2 days ago where I went through this category once. So, Rust type. My goal is to be underestimate. But yeah, so this is another stage where I can viably get the ring attack world record. I think the record is 263 rings. It's a little bit harder though, but it's viable without taking risks. But yeah, in this category itself, if you had like all the teams unlocked from the start, there would be a lot more team variety. But given that you only have Sonic Tails unlocked at the start, you use I think 7 teams in this category. Which, if you think about it, consider how much time it costs to swap teams. Is pretty impressive. But yeah, like also your lead character can have like different abilities depending on their partner character. So like Knuckles typically glides, but like if he's paired with Tails, he gets a little jump glide, which you actually saw a few times in the previous stage. If Knuckles is paired with Amy, he can actually spin dash up walls, which is really cool and really fancy. But unfortunately, we're not using that team a single time in this category.
Yeah, the most useless and at the same time most hilarious one though is Knuckles and Sonic.
Yeah, if you pair Knuckles with Sonic, Knuckles has this headbutt that puts him into ball mode. It kind of sucks for the most part. There's like 1 or 2 applications for it, but you would only use Knuckles and Sonic as a team if you want Sonic's tag action while having power attacks, basically.
More importantly, though, the double-decker glide.
Alright, so that's the Chaos Emerald for the stage. And now for the boss. This boss is really random. How far the boss gets knocked back is random. The direction he rolls in is random in the latter half of the fight. It's a lot about like how you improv around the fights. It can troll you, but pretty hard. Thankfully, Knuckles has an uppercut attack when he's paired with Tails, and it has a really nice vertical reach, so it can cover a lot of options. Once I do it at a bad range like that. Okay, where is he? He's coming down this way.
Yeah, the easiest way is to beat this boss is to come in here with Cream and have Cheese just beat the boss for you, basically.
Cream is the last character you unlock.
Yeah.
So.
You will see Cream a little bit, but not much.
What makes Knuckles good? Well, I need to use Knuckles because there's a Chao behind there's a Chao behind power barriers in the next stage coming up, and I need Knuckles on my team to get through it. And Knuckles and Tails is the most suited team for the next zone because the next zone is very vertically oriented. Like, it's a really vertically big zone, and being able to do giant jumps is invaluable. So I'm going to be sticking to this team for the entire next zone. There just also isn't a convenient time to swap teams, because like a different team would actually be better for the last act of the zone, but the hub world is kind of designed very linearly, so you can't really do Act 1. You can't really do the 1, 2, Act 3 acts out of order without a significant backtrack, basically. So like swapping teams is like not beneficial at all in this zone. You're going to pay for this? Oh. I almost tried to do the death abuse early for some reason.
Yeah. In this stage, there is a death abuse just because of where some of the chows are just very far away from each other. So he's going to hit a checkpoint, get the chows, die intentionally, and get sent back to a nice convenient place to finish the level.
Yeah, so this is a checkpoint I want to abuse here. That's because there are like 2 chow that require kind of going all the way around the stage. And I'm going to be end up at the very start of this stage again after I get these 2 chow. That's a power barrier I just broke. This is why I need Knuckles. I'm going to fall all the way down here. Get another chow here. And then I'm pretty much back at the start of the stage, but that checkpoint I hit is around the halfway point, so I'm better off killing myself on this Crusher coming up here. Okay, this stage is a lot of people's least favorite, admit it, for a good reason, because this zone introduces a lot of Crushers, and Crushers in this game are, yeah, they're a thing.
Yeah, the Crushers and the detection of when you're being crushed, it's not good.
It isn't. But in the speedrun sense, the stage design is actually really neat, because they put in a lot of neat shortcuts that you can skip a huge part of the stage that you can only access with certain teams, and it's really neat how much depth they thought they put into that.
Yeah, this game by and large in terms of design and mechanics is very solid, but it does have its weak points.
All right. Alright, so Act 2 coming up. I'm going to be making a detour for 1 chow underwater. There's no real nice shortcut for it. I tested, like, trying to do a death abuse or maybe making a detour to exit the stage manually, but the fastest way to get this chow is to just get it now and then backtrack. It's a little annoying, but oh well. So here's the chow, bottom right corner of the map, and then I go back to the bottom left corner so I can do the stage properly. Made a mistake at the start, and I would have liked to make a 23-second cycle of a Crusher, but I'm not going to make it. It's a pretty tight cycle to make, so... You can see I'm just getting a lot of mileage out of using Tails attack action a lot, because, again, this zone is all about vertical movements. And I'm going to fall down a massive vertical room. And then you're supposed to enter an underwater section of the stage, but if you know about this little shortcut here, you can skip that entirely. Thank you, developers. And there's 3 cannons, but I'm doing a damage boost with attack action to skip those, because it's a bit faster. Oh, wrong attack action. Oh well. Rest type. And another shortcut coming up here that skips a platform you're supposed to ride on, and you can take it if you have the right ability, right there. And you're supposed to kind of go all the way right and ride like 4 platforms, but I'm skipping all of that again by abusing Tails' attack action. And meanwhile, grabbing this chow here too. And yes, this act and also Act 1 have 4 chow each. Most acts have 3 chow, but there are a few acts that have 4 chow instead. Whew. Yeah, this is one of the longest acts in the run, just because you have to make a lot of detours for chow, and it's just a really long act as well.
And in this next one, the key placement is actually going to be rather important.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing that's you have to bear in mind is that you can despawn keys. If you go past a key spawn location and you have not got all the chows yet, and the game decides the key's going to spawn in that location when you get the last chow, it just doesn't spawn there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to either exit the stage or just not trigger that location until you actually have all the chows.
Yeah, that actually ruined some of the routing for 2 zones, Twinkle Snow and Sunset Hill, unfortunately. if it weren't for that weird despawn glitch, then I would have done Sunset Health 3 last, because by the last chow of that zone is a special key. But due to the glitch, if the special key happens to quote spawn there, then after I get the chow, it's just not gonna spawn at all. So it's kind of a stupid glitch. This act is an act where Tails' attack action isn't that useful, but it's not worth swapping teams, because going to Act 3 from the start of the hub just takes forever. Alright, so as Alec mentioned, if I run too far right here, then I will despawn a key. So I have to make sure I enter the water early, and not go too far right. There are two potential key locations. One's on the surface of the water, to the right of where I just fell into the water, and the other is past that, which is really convenient. So it's past it, right here.
But yeah, it's a 50-50 chance, so it's better to just make sure that you don't trigger the one location in case that's the one you get.
Alright. We forgot to mention that I got the world record in Special Stage 2. I forgot about that, because I got 263. That is the ring attack world record.
Yeah, but it's an easy world record. Nobody cares about it.
Oh, good point. This one I'm not getting world record for. The Special Stage 3 ring attack is really difficult. Pretty much all the ring attacks are really difficult except for Special Stage 1, 2, and 5, I think. Like, these sets of 6 rings are really difficult to get. Like, I already just missed one. Because they're really widely spread out. And you have to, like, time walking across it at the perfect time. Only an idiot would bother trying to ring attack this, like me. So something that's interesting to note about the special stages is that there are actually super rings. It's really hard to see them. You have to be memorize and pay close attention to where they are. But they're slightly red and sparkly, and those rings actually give you 5 rings per super ring. So usually, if there's like two mutually exclusive passive rings, one of them often has a super ring. But you're not going to be able to react to it in time, so you just kind of have to memorize where it is. You never need them to beat a special stage. Like, I can take like 3 hits in most of them and I'll be fine. Okay, 3 hits is a bit much, but I can take some hits and be fine. Right, well, I do want to take this time to talk about the next boss. The next boss is a boss where he's a kind of a robot that flies over you and has these giant legs. And every time he attacks, when he falls to the ground, he'll do one of 2 things. He'll either close his legs and then activate a shockwave. That's a bad pattern. Or he'll leave his legs open and fall down, which is good because you can stand between his legs and bop Eggman and get 3 hits in. I want to get that pattern every time. Ideally, I'll two cycle the boss.
Yeah, open legs, bop the eggs.
Yep. That tag action there is a bit tight because you need to be as high up the slope as possible without canceling tag action to make that. Alright. Get your owls ready. You little...
I can't hear any of what he's saying, unfortunately. Not in time.
We'll leave it to chat. Good. This is a good pattern.
I'll just throw in a couple random... Ow!
Ow! You little...
You little...
Ooh, Tails got a hit from me. Oh, I accidentally canceled my tag action. I didn't lose much time because he gave me a really good pattern after that. It was still a good fight. Like, this was still a better fight than if he gave me one bad pattern. That's how good this fight. That's how much time you lose from a bad pattern.
You're going to pay for this!
You little... Alright, so I'm going to be resetting again for a team swap. I'm going to be swapping to Tail Sonic for the first 2 acts of the next zone. This zone is really interesting to route because there are so many different variations you can do, and you can end the zone on any 3 of the acts and still have the route work out pretty well. So the route that I'm showcasing here was barely turned out to be faster than barely turned out to be the fastest. Because there's like a lot of different variations you can do with like Tail Sonic or Sonic and Tails for these stages and so on. So it took a lot of time to nail this down, but it worked out. Alright, Toy Kingdom is kind of like your casino zone. It's not that bad, honestly. It's all it is a lot of cycles. So if you're familiar with the cycles, then you're generally speaking, you're fine. It's just a punishing zone if you mess up like that. Because missing a cycle can be costly.
This area is just Dan's game, Dan's game, Dan's game, Dan's game, Dan's game.
Dan's game. Wow, I actually made that cycle after that mistake. The next cycle I want to make is a 30-second cycle, but with the mistake I just made, I'm not making it.
It's also really easy to get crushed here.
Yes, there are many crushers in this zone. Many crushers. I generally want to be very careful if I'm not confident in cycles yet. So I missed one cycle in this stage, which I usually make the best cycles, but I'm rusty, so I'll blame it on that.
Kirby fell down.
Kirby fell down. That damage is intentional, by the way. Oh, whoops. So fun fact, if you do a frame perfect tag action jump off a slope, you gain a lot of extra speed. And ideally you do it off of a perfectly vertical wall, but it's actually completely frame perfect and pretty much impossible to do for a human to do reliably. But there are certain slopes that are steep enough to get a lot of speed off of it, but not so steep to the point where you lose your tag action by standing on it. And that's what I just did at the end of the previous stage. By buffering frame perfect tag action like that. There's another spot I'm going to do that in the next zone. But the TAS is pretty insane. I highly recommend checking it out. There is a TAS of this category. Okay. So ideal cycle I want to make is, I think, 55 seconds. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. That's not good. Alright. It's gonna be exciting.
Oh.
I didn't mean to fall down there, and Tails cannot reach that. Get back up from there. So...
Kirby actually fell down.
Yes, I did miss a Chow, so I need to because of that mistake, so I'm gonna have to backtrack. I'm gonna have to go back and get it. Thankfully, getting a Chow doesn't require beating the stage itself. Thankfully. But getting a special key does require beating the stage with the special key. So I'm gonna have to redo part of the stage. Use that mistake. Oh well. It happens, not the end of the world.
As with many of these kinds of stages, they tend to punish your mistakes.
And Tails' flight typically lasts, I think, 8 seconds in most 2D games, but in this game, it actually depends on your partner. He lasts, I think, only 5 seconds when paired with Sonic. 4 seconds with Amy. He doesn't fly at all with Tail, like Cream or Knuckles, basically. But if he's your partner, he does last a full 8 seconds, I think.
Obligatory, that's what she said.
Yeah. Poor Tails.
Hey, he's young and inexperienced. Give him a break.
He is young and inexperienced. Alright. That's the Chow there I want to get. Since I've already beaten the stage, I can just exit. Alright, and there's another Chow here. I'm going to reset there, because the only thing left to do is beating Act 3. And Act 3 is a general stage. Meaning I have to beat it with Sonic as the lead character in order to unlock another character, which is Amy in this case. Whee!
Yeah, Amy actually sees a little bit of use. Amy's
really good in this game.
Yeah, like in other games, she has a hammer, and that hammer is quite useful. Not just against bosses here, but also as a tag action, it is very, very useful.
Ah, dang it. I have to play this perfectly, make the next block cycle after that mistake, and I'm not making it. Oh well. Oh, that was so close. Oh well.
Rip.
Rip. Thankfully, the stage is interesting because it's actually almost the same speed between the two teams, with at least with the Chow routes. So, like the Sonic and Tails versus Tails and Sonic, it's really close. At least as far as I remember from when I timed it. But you have to do it with Sonic and Tails because of unlocking Amy. Yeah, so one thing to note, this game does have tricking, as I just demonstrated. Just like in Sonic Advance 2. The issue with it is that tricking is only 4 teams can trick. Sonic Tails, Tails Sonic, Amy Cream, and Cream Amy. So Knuckles cannot trick in this game at all. I went left a bit there because there's a special key location there, but it's not, so I got the other location right there.
Yeah, and the tricking just isn't as useful in general. The game is not designed around it. It's designed around the tag actions and team variances. So, unlike Advance 2, where you would just see tag or Ariel especially tricking all the time, you don't really see it that much in this game.
Yeah, I like how much there is in this game. It's like it's just enough to give you a reason to use a team over another team, but it doesn't overemphasize it. So we just unlocked Amy, and to emphasize how useful Amy is, I'm actually going to swap to her right now. So I'm going to be swapping to Amy and Sonic. Amy and Sonic is really similar to Tails Sonic because, again, what determines the team mechanic is their partner. And with Sonic as Amy's partner, this team is a lot more similar to Tails Sonic. The difference is Tails Sonic can fly, Amy Sonic can't fly, but Amy Sonic does have a hammer, which is invaluable in a few spots.
He's also switching to it because it's his OTP.
Amy's also cute, although not as cute as Cream.
And we're not going to talk about some of the sprites in this special stage.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about it. They're kind of self-explanatory. Something to note though, Amy when paired with Sonic actually does have an air dash. It's actually surprisingly useful because Amy's air dash keeps boost mode in this game. And you can also alter your direction immediately with it. So it's actually useful in a few spots where you're like moving right with boost mode, but you want to immediately turn left and you just air dash left and then she's fine. It's not as good as Sonic's air dash in Advance 2, but it's still very useful. And also helps her gain momentum really quickly if you air dash into a ledge. So if you see me jump into a ledge with this team and suddenly gain a lot of speed, then that's because I air dashed into it. Okay, so the next boss coming up is a very exciting boss. You have to attack the boss 10 times. Each time you hit the boss will do one of 3 patterns. Jack-in-a-Box, which is, I think, a 5-second animation. A Ball and Chain, which is a 10-second animation. And a Missile, which is a 12-second animation. And obviously, you want as many Jack-in-a-Boxes as possible. The chance of a Jack-in-a-Box go down with every hit. And until after the 7th hit, where it is flat out impossible to get. So at that point, the best possible pattern is to get 7 Jack-in-a-Boxes, 3 Ball and Chains. So in chat, I want to see people guess how many missiles we're gonna get, and I will donate $1 for each missile we get. Because this boss tends to troll me quite a bit with missiles, so I may regret this a little bit. But hey, for charity.
I just put my guess in chat.
Missile welcome, yes. Post the number of missile welcomes you want to bet.
I think S-Grunt wins, though.
Too many, exactly.
Unless you get perfect luck.
Oh, no, there's one already. There's one already.
Okay.
There's one already. Escort wins already. If you value your life, insanity, do not time attack this boss. Don't be like me in Worcester. For reference, Worcester has I think a 132. I have a 138. He got one better pattern than me. That's how much of a difference one pattern makes in this boss fight. It's pretty stupid. Also, there's missile number 2. But yeah, if you can spin dash, this boss is easy. You just spin dash in front of him and you're fine. Boop. And if you have one ring, your ring always goes left. That's missile number 3, by the way. So as long as you're facing right, you can get the one ring pretty easily. Missile number 4.
Hey Diamond, you should totally time attack this boss.
Diamond tends to be the guy who likes to time attack bosses. But this is totally for him. I'm sorry, Alec, you lose. This is missile number 5.
Well,
I think I got 0 Jack-in-the-Boxes now that I think about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I got 0. It's impossible to get a Jack-in-the-Box.
Yeah.
What a good boss. So, Worcester's IO ended. My IO just ended.
Dude,
Missile number 6.
advanced 3 carts are cheap, just saying.
Advanced 3 carts are not that expensive. I have 4 carts. So 2 North American ones, a PAL one, and a Japanese one.
So how many is that? 6?
I think I got 5. Well, actually, I kind of lost count. It's 5. The one at the very start is automatic. That one doesn't count. The Jack-in-the-Box.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for this! Man!
You're going to pay for this!
Got 6 missiles. Okay, I'm donating $6 after all my runs, if I remember. 218, I think? That's pretty bad. I consider an average fight to be 2 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
not
one of the
good.
worst fights I've ever had. I don't remember having a time worse than 215, like, ever. I did get one fight a long time ago where I got 8 missiles. It was fantastic. One day, my life goal was to get 10 missiles, eventually. Alright, so this is the ice zone, because every Sonic Advance game has to have an ice zone. Thankfully, they're fun and cool, and fast-paced.
And you'll get to see some really entertaining stuff here, though I'm not going to spoil it just yet.
Yeah, so Amy Sonic, technically Tail Sonic is faster for most of the acts in the zone than Amy Sonic, though not by much. Which really goes to show how good this team is overall. There's just one act where this team beats out Tail Sonic by a significant margin. Right, so I kind of have to go in a circle here because there's 3 Chao that are kind of in a circle formation. I kind of have to make a minor backtrack like that. Oh, I've never seen the cycles like that before. Wasn't prepared for that. All right, time to take intended routes. I don't remember the last time I took this switch. Oh god, oh god. Okay.
Kirby, why you do this?
Why do I do this? Why did I offer this run? Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm glad to run this game. It's just a very difficult game, I'll say that. But hey, it's all in good fun. So right there, I had to time my tag action appropriately, so I finish charging just as I land on the rail. Because getting off of a rail, if you want to go through a rail, the fastest way to fall through it is to finish charging a tag action, because you just fall through it. Otherwise, like, jumping means you're kind of jumping, which is slower, because you have to go up and down. Alright, so here's where I do a frame-perfect jump off a slope to gain, like, 20% extra speed for that one jump. Yeah! Okay. So Act 2, well, actually, before I get into Act 2, this is the hardest strat in the game. Hold left. Done. It took me forever to figure out that you can just hold left to get that Chao. I was trying to come up with all these crazy strats to try to get that Chao quickly, but you can just hold left, and you're good to go. Alright, so this act is a really cool act. It's very horizontal, so having Sonic as your attack partner is really nice. But there's also a separate route that really benefits vertical moving teams. I made a mistake here, so I need to go back, make a backtrack here, unfortunately. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorite stages in terms of stage design. What? Okay. Alright then. I'm gonna try this again.
Huh. Just tell me when you get it so I can explain it, because I've been waiting.
Just got it.
Okay. So, like in Advance 1, there are shenanigans you can pull with what layer of the stage you're on. Basically, loops and other such things depend on layers in the foreground and background basically to work. So he put himself on the wrong one here, and now he's able to just kind of go through this stage, mostly running on the water, interacting with sprite-based objects, which are active on both layers, to get some chows, and at the end, all goes well.
Yep.
Should
No!
just be
Yeah!
reaching it. Yeah.
So this
I
saves
love
about
that.
a minute and a half for this category, because those chow are really out of the way for an inbounds route. So it saves so much time to go out of bounds there. I found, fun fact, that's the reason why I use Amy Sonic, because you have to hammer that spring to that glitch. And the way I found it was because I found it on accident. All you do is hammer that spring into air. That's it. It's great. Alright, so this is another act. It's kind of abusing Sonic's tag action a lot. Flight isn't super useful in this act, so I'm sticking to this team. This team's just really good. Oh! That's never happened before. Oh! Alright. I missed a chow there. This has never happened before. Okay, let's see if I can...
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can at least get back to an earlier part of the level pretty easily.
Yeah, it's not that bad. This game is quite possibly the fastest Amy ever goes in a Sonic game, honestly. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, because she has boost mode here.
Faster than Advanced 2, I'd wager. Though she's also very fast in Advanced 2. Alright, so this stage, I'm gonna get the last Chow soon. And after the last Chow, there are two special key. There's only one special key location is possible to get. If I don't get it, which is a 50-50, then I have to kill myself and try again and pray. And I hit a checkpoint already, and the other special key is not anywhere near that checkpoint. So I just have to keep trying over and over again for 50%, 50-50. But
So
I got it, so we good.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it is definitely possible that he would run out of lives and have to do the stage again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I had to if I ran out of lives, I would finish the stage and then just redo it. Which isn't the end of the world, because if you do the stage from start to finish, you're guaranteed to get a special key with the any percent route. So, like, it's not like you're, like, it's possible to never finish a run or whatever. Alright, so this is Special Stage 5. I think the goal is to get 275 rings, because that is the ring attack world record. And that is my goal. So, let's see. That's a super ring there. On the right side. Left. Left, then right. Left. Okay. I don't think I missed any. Eventually, I think starting in Special Stage 6, these blue speed boosters actually move a bit. Though usually it's not a big deal. So I think 129 rings is what I want for the ring attack world record by the checkpoint. So hopefully I can keep it up. You also want to make sure you hit the black bombs. They get 5 rings each. Whenever you can, at least. That was close. Ring attack world record. Why cannot I do this at HEDQ where I got all 3 of them? Sad face. So yeah, you saw 3 world records in this run.
So that means we're up to what, 5 now total?
Yes. So optimizing this movement here is actually difficult to go to the boss. Because, again, there are actually platform cycles to worry about in this hub. But I did that pretty cleanly. Alright, so this boss is not random. But if you could explain the gimmick of this boss, that would be nice. I do have to concentrate.
Sure. Okay, so fortunately, this boss is not just an RNG fest, like he said. The gimmick is these falling platforms are going to fall after a certain amount of time, or if you jump off them. So what it's going to try to do is manipulate them so that they hit Robotnik as soon as he's vulnerable every single time. Some teams have a much easier time of this than others, but the bottom line is if he stun locks the boss, then he's not going to do attacks. And that was a really solid fight.
That was pretty much perfect with this team. I can beat Eggman without him attacking a single time, but it's pretty much impossible with this team. You want to use a team with Amy as your attack partner. It saves like 8 seconds, but it's not worth this team swap. Alright, so Act 1 of the next zone is a Chow that's normally supposed to be between 2 power barriers. However, in the Japanese and PAL version of the game, for some reason, the power barrier on the back is not a power barrier. So in the North American version, I would have to do a team swap to Knuckles and Sonic. But in this version of the game, I can save around 10 seconds by just sticking to this team instead. There's also another act, Toy Kingdom 3, I think, where there are supposed to be 2 power barriers, but one of them's missing in the PAL and Japanese version. Why? I do not know. Which is why J-Ash I mean, I'm not going to say J-Ash is a bad runner of the game, but J-Ash got a ridiculously good IL time on that stage, partially because of that. And we were like, why is this a thing? Why does J-Ash have only 1 power barrier and I have 2? But I found out that's because he was running on PAL version. By the way, J-Ash is a very good IL runner of the game. I highly recommend checking him out. J-Ash 15, I think? I don't know if he really streams, but he does have a YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know the number anyway.
So that is the Chow, where the back barrier is a power barrier, not a power barrier, even though it's supposed to be one. So yeah, like, I mean, it's really hard to time these kind of differences, because like, worst case scenario, the Japanese and PAL version lose around 10 seconds to the bosses combined, but you saved around that much time from that route split as well. The route change with not having to do a team swap. Speaking of team swaps, I'm doing a team swap now because I want to swap to Sonic and Tails. Because Act 3 of this zone is where I can unlock Cream, meaning, again, I need Sonic as my lead character. And Sonic Tails is a really good team for Act 2 as well. So it's best to just swap to them now.
Yeah, Cybertrack, it has a lot of these kind of semi-automated paths that you saw him taking a few of in Act 1. And there's some chicanery that can be done to skip around them or even skip into them.
Yeah. You can do them in pretty much any act, although in the speedrun setting it's only useful in Act 3, so I'll be demonstrating that soon. Yeah, this game is really fun to run. I highly recommend people check it out. It definitely has a pretty steep learning curve because, I mean, I'm making it look easy, but you have to learn like when to start charging attack actions because you don't want to charge them too early since that limits your movement, but you don't want to start charging too late because that loses time, and so on. But it's a very satisfying speedrun. It's really fun, and a lot of team variety too.
Yeah, and this game also has a pretty decent category variety, just because you have your basic any percent, which a lot of people didn't really run. You have alt stages, so you do that in time attack, and then you have this category, which is kind of like the 100% category, and they're all quite unique, even if they're similar in some ways.
Mm-hmm. the any percent category used to pretty much be entirely dominated by Sonic, Tails, and Tails Sonic, because in any percent you don't need to unlock characters, so there's no need to unlock any. But then, even before I found a skip with Amy Sonic, ended up working. It ended up actually being faster to unlock Amy just for like one zone, because Amy Sonic is such a good team for that zone. And then of course I found a skip on accident. Right, so right there is the clip that Alec was talking about, where you can enter these pinball machines from the wrong side. By basically what happens is when you use Tails' tag action in the air, he actually shoves your lead character below where you initiate it for a brief moment. And in the case of these little pinball machines, it registers as you entering it, even though you didn't really enter it from the correct side. Meanwhile, I kind of want to take a moment that the next run coming up is Sonic Rush, and there is a Sonic vs. 8-Bit War. So if you're interested in donating, be sure to keep that in mind. Okay. So there's two possible special key locations. I can always get either of them, but one of them does cost a little bit of time if I get unlucky. So the ideal location is in this gap right here, and I didn't get it, so I need to use up a few seconds for the backup key.
And again, that's just basically luck. It's one of two different places. Fortunately, they're pretty close to each other here.
Yeah, it's not too significant. Well, if you can actually execute it properly. Whee! Ring around the rosy. Alright, I'm skipping running around a giant block and a platform you're supposed to ride on by clipping into this again.
Now see, if I had been able to see that in real time, I could have been on time with it.
Yeah, it's hard to
round,
commentate.
Baby, right round.
It's hard to commentate with Twitch delay, so definitely shout out to Alec for commentating so many of my runs and such. The support. Oh, we never introduced ourselves. I'm Kirbymastah, and the guy on commentary is Alec, the guy who ran Sonic 2. Hi.
Do you know who I am?
Okay, that was a very good General fight. This General is really annoying because this is the only General fight where he has a barrier, which protects him while he's stationary. And he's very random, and he has his rocket attack where he flies across the screen, wasting like around 4 or 5 seconds each, but he did that 0 times, so that was a ridiculously good fight. Unfortunately, you have to deal with General luck if you're trying to time attack that stage. And that stage also has a lot of really difficult IL strats. So, if you value your sanity, do not IL Act 3 Cybertruck. Okay. So, switching to Amy Sonic again, primarily for the boss and the next zone coming up, but before I do that, I do need to do the special stage. Unfortunately, Amy can't hammer special springs. So I'm going to talk about Amy's mechanics as a partner during the special stage, because there's no way I'm actually getting world record with this, because it's stupidly risky and pretty much impossible. But basically, whenever Amy is a character's partner, that character will not spin jump anymore. They will do a straight jump, similarly to how Amy does a straight jump in Sonic Advance 1. That a lot of players think that's a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing, because you can manually spin in the air, and that always gives you back air control no matter what. So it's actually really good. So like usually, if a character being paired with Amy is often a good thing because of that. Now, in the case of the team, why is that relevant? Well, in the case of the team I'm using now, Sonic's current moveset is as if he's paired with Amy. And that's going to be very relevant in the boss coming up. The boss is a very gimmicky boss where it involves bouncing these orange balls back at Eggman with really wonky physics. And typically speaking, you can hit a ball back if you just jump. And the AI is very finicky and likes to jump a lot and mess you up. But Sonic's AI, Sonic when paired with Amy does a straight jump, which doesn't bounce balls back. And his AI is programmed to never actually spin in the air. So basically, there's basically 0 chance of him actually screwing up the fights, which is the main reason why this team is the best team for that fight, because you want Sonic's tag action, and by pairing Sonic with Amy, that also means there's no chance of him screwing you up.
Yeah, and this boss is pretty much a perfect example of functional randomness, because it's not actually random at all. The boss fires its balls at a set rate based on how many hits it's taken. The thing is, in order to get that to act the same way every time, you're going to have to hit those balls to hit the boss the same time every time. And that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so I have positional cues and audio cues for the first to get the first 3 hits really consistently. The 4th and 5th hits are less consistent, but if I nail them, then I'm generally pretty good to go. So if this fight goes well, I'm going to look like a complete god for the first half of the fight. But if anything goes wrong, then all hell breaks loose, basically. And I'm pretty much relying on effectively luck. So here we go. Ooh, whatever. Let's go. You little. Ow! Okay, 4th hit is hard. That's not gonna hit. Okay, I have a backup hit here. And I got it. Okay. So I got the backup 4th hit, but that means that the pseudo randomness is gonna start on hit 5, not 6, which kind of sucks. But oh well. And the earlier you lose your setup, the worse it is, because Eggman fires more quickly with more hits. He fires very slowly in early on with the fight, which is actually bad because that means fewer opportunities to hit him. He only really starts to fire his balls really quickly, like around hit 7.
Great balls of fire!
8. You little. Ow! Oh, come on. Get something. Okay, good. Typically speaking, a really good fight is sub-minutes. This is fine. Could have been better. Could have been a lot worse. I've had worse. You're going to pay for this! Oh, you almost timed that perfectly.
I've kind of been paying attention. I'm trying to figure out how long it takes.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Right,
I just have to get it there. Oh man, did you see that? You had exactly a minute 30 seconds.
Did I? I missed. Oh, you! I do. Dang. I am a god. Worship me. All right. Chaos Angel is my favorite zone and also the most difficult. It's really big, fast, and really difficult and punishing. But it's very satisfying and looks really cool. And this team really shines in Chaos Angel Act 1. Other alternatives for teams is Sonic Cream. Sonic Cream also does really well on this zone, but when I timed it, Amy Sonic turned out to be barely faster. Primarily because of the team swap. If it weren't for the team swap, then I would use Sonic Cream instead. Also, shout out to Epic Music.
Yeah, I wish I could be listening to this music right now, but then I'd be hearing echo, and that's no good.
Echo.
Echo! Echo!
Echo! Echo! I got bopped there. So yeah, Amy, you're gonna see a lot of hammer uses, because whenever you hammer a spring, you have double speed off of it, which functionally means you get a crazy amount of height off of a vertical spring if you hammer it, which is invaluable in this stage. And here, I'm going to be using the air dash to change my direction left, while keeping boost mode.
Yeah, so basically tricking, which he has access to right now.
I do not.
Or kind of, like, aerial maneuvers, I guess, would probably be the best way to actually say it. They do preserve your boost mode more than just kind of changing direction by losing speed, because the game kind of gives you a little bit of leeway, like there's a little bit of cooldown before it really takes your boost mode away.
So I kind of have to make a detour for this Chow here, and there's a lot of crushers here, so I want to get out of here quickly and peace out before it crushes me. Alright, so scary part coming up. This is, by the way, anytime I'm outdoors, just assume I'm over a massive bottomless pit, because I am. and a mistake means I die. That happened. I forgot to pull back. I was supposed to pull back with that jump there, but I forgot to, so that happened. Oh well, it's not the end of the world.
Rails.
Oh, whoops. I forgot about that too.
These, I would say, are the best rails in the Advanced series. They are still not perfect.
They're not very good. They're not very good. Okay, there we
Kirby
go.
fell down.
There we go. I wanted to pull back there to make sure I land on the flat part of the rail. Alright, so I'm on my last life, so this is actually legit scary, because I'm going to lose 2 minutes if I die. Well, not 2 minutes, because I don't have to get the Chow again, but... because the Chow saves the moment you get it. But... I'm good. Here's Barney's hide and seek, oh my god. I considered taking a safety reset just to get more lives, but Act 2 isn't as dangerous in terms of dying, so I'm just gonna trudge along. And if I die, well, so be it. Alright, Act 2. This act is just so amazing with this team, I love it. It's just tag action over and over again, and you just go so fast. Well, if you're not rusty like I am right now, but hey. Right, this Chow is a very, very cleverly hidden Chow. It's like, how the heck do people find that? I'm gonna be taking an intentional damage boost here. To skip riding this up, like that. Hammer to spring, or not. Hammer, let's try that again. Hammer to spring, there we go. To get a lot of height. These jumps right there are really difficult, because you have to jump low enough to not hit the ceiling or an enemy, but if you're too low, you're just not going to make it. So it took me a lot of practice to get that down.
That feeling when you're supposed to be commentating around and you're paying more attention to chat talking about 420 and parties.
I don't blame you.
This is a really cool level, too.
But 420. Oh, not a big deal. So this should be the last Chow of the stage. There's only 2 Chow left, which both of them are in Act 3. The upcoming is one of my favorite parts in a run if I nail it properly. So... not this part. Come on, get up there, thank you. Pixels be nice. Woo! That feels good to do.
Yeah, that's a spot that frequently stops him with sub-pixels.
Okay, so I'm gonna reset here because the third act is an act where you're supposed to ride 3 platforms, so it's effectively an auto-scroller over giant bottomless pits. But we don't like auto-scrollers.
Ain't nobody got time for
no one's got time for auto-scrollers. So Tails, when paired with Amy, his flight duration is reduced compared to Tails and Sonic, but he has a ridiculous amount of mobility during that shortened time when flying. Like, his vertical movement when flying is insane with this team.
Yeah. He does have reduced duration on his flight, which makes this trickier, but he does have enough.
Just enough, barely enough. So that's the first auto-scroller skipped. I'm gonna hit a checkpoint just to be safe. Oh. Okay, hopefully that platform comes back, because I actually need it. It should come back when I get this Chow up here. Alright, and Amy's tag action, she hammers you straight up, so it's kind of similar to Tails' tag action on the ground. Except it goes straight up instead of slightly to the side. Ooh, okay, I'm good.
You don't need any safety. Safety strats are for noobs.
Safety stuffs are for noobs. Okay, I should make this. Up here is a hidden chow, the last one. And the ideal special key location is right by the checkpoint here, meaning I don't have to care about it. And it's there. So now I can skip this entire autoscroller. If I got the other special key location, I have to ride the autoscroller about 1/3 of the way. Which costs around 10 seconds. But that went well. Right, so the next boss coming up, if you remember, if you've played Sonic Advance 1, which most of you probably have, it's basically the same idea as Cosmic Angel's boss, except even not very well programmed. Even worse, in a sense. Basically, Eggman's on the chain, and you don't have to flip him over, but you have to get on the opposite side and then try to hit him on his vulnerable side. And programming of these chains is not exactly reliable. Oh yeah, anyone paired with Amy has a hammer. Not always a good thing. It does give him an option to hammer spring. Oh, I need a ring. Okay, we good. Ah!
So you know what time it is, people.
You little? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, well this is a little scary.
It's
That could
Hannah
happen.
time. Ow!
Ow! That was painful. Okay. Fast pattern here. Okay, so hopefully he doesn't quit. Oof! That is random. He randomly flips without any warning, and there is nothing I could do about that. So, yeah. It's kind of not well designed, not a very well programmed boss. So, oh well. Oh.
I told you you'd pay for this!
I did pay for it! Wait, after 4 hits, Eggman starts spinning around, and he spins in a different random direction, but the duration of his spin attack is always the same. So with practice, you can kind of just guess where he's going to stop, like that. And I've done this boss so many times, it's pretty much instinct for me. Well, of course I say that and I mess up, but hey, marathon strats. It's gonna go fast here. Wait, hopefully he doesn't flip. He did flip. Good thing I have a ring. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, nice flip. You're gonna pay for this? 3, 2, 1. You're going to pay for this!
You're going to pay for
You're
this!
going to pay for this! Well, that boss can treat you pretty annoyingly at times, but hey, it happens. Alright, so you're thrown straight into the final boss of the game. I cannot access the best ending immediately. There are multiple requirements for the best ending, which I already mentioned 2 of them, unlocking all the characters and getting the 7 Chaos Emeralds. The other condition is to have already beaten the final boss. Which is annoying, because that means I have to do this stage twice in this category. And then on the second time I have to do it with Sonic as the lead character. Which isn't a bad thing, honestly, because it's
It also means watching the credits.
Yes, it does mean watching the credits. Because the game does not save you beating the stage until after the credits.
Skychase got nothing on that. Fortunately, they're not horribly long, but, you know, they're not short either.
It's long enough where I can reliably take a bathroom break and not lose time. Alright, so this boss is, normally, if you don't have any extra abilities, you have to jump on a hand and bop Eggman because he's too high to reach for the normal jump. So this is a boss that really encourages you to mess with teams and use different teams, basically, that allow you to reach him like that. Oh, okay, and I got a reach. So there's a lot of teams that can reach him quickly. I'm using Amy's tag action because when used in the air, you're put into ball mode, which is really nice and reliable. I can hit Eggman with Tails' tails when flying, or with the hammer, because Tails can actually hammer uses hammer while flying when paired with Amy, but it's not reliable because you can't descend immediately. So just spamming Amy's tag action is the most reliable with this team. You little... Ow! Alright, so I'm not supposed to have control of Tails here. I activated a glitch where if you have Amy's tag action already charged during the last hit, then you can have control of your lead character. And then I just lost control. Is it useful? Nope, not at all. It's just silly. You're going to pay for this!
You're watching. You're going to pay for this!
You're watching, you're going to pay for this. 2018. So, in terms of shameless plugs, the run after this is Sonic Rush by a loser like me, and it's a bid war between Sonic and Blaze, so you should donate for whoever you want to watch. So, this game is kind of interesting with how it works with unlocking things. So, after you beat the game, you unlock... Yeah, there's 3 separate flags. I mean, I never looked at the game's code or whatever, but there are 3 different flags set after you beat the game, and they're each triggered at different times after the credits. The first one is the flag for knowing that you beaten the game. That flag is triggered when you see the cutscene of Eggman saying, collect the Chaos Emeralds. There's a second trigger that unlocks Sound Test, which is when the game says you unlock Sound Test, and then a third trigger for Boss Attack. Everyone thought all 3 of these were just one trigger after seeing everything, but in fact, they're different triggers for whatever reason. So, I'm gonna beat the game without having unlocked Sound Test and Boss Attack mode, because the moment I see the Eggman cutscene is when the flag is set to allow me to get the best ending, and I'm just gonna soft reset right there and skip the other notifications. Unfortunately, all the flags are after the credits. So, oh well. Okay. I cannot see what's in chat because in IRC it's all just a bunch of boxes. What are people saying?
You watch it. You're going to pay for this! 2018.
2018.
Oh, was I supposed to stop the timer at some point? Oops.
No, it's not. No.
Oh,
This is
okay.
still
I saw the credits. I was like,
You know, we have to watch the credits for this run, unfortunately. But yeah. What should we talk about? We can start a Q&A maybe. Or maybe we could talk about the... what is it?
how long are the credits?
Long enough to plug the charity.
With no speed at
Alright,
all.
here, let me see if I can find like a video.
Sitting around with no speed at all. Unfortunately, we gotta watch all the credits.
We're paying for this by watching the credits.
Publicity. Yasushi Nagumi.
We need to find a voice clip for Eggman's lines. Especially you're going to pay for this.
I found out in 2006
You know what?
the hard
An
way
Eggman soundboard
that
would be
I
pretty
had
good.
Mic off. Mic on.
Yeah, like the only reason I got the PAL version of the game is for HDQ, so I can
I had
speedrun
a
the
brain
faster version of the
aneurysm
game
that
with English
ruptured.
voices.
My neck was almost
It's the only
100%
difference
blocked.
between Japanese and
It was
PAL
just one
version
thing after another,
is sounds.
after another.
There's actually a
You
few
know,
sound
just
effects that are different.
felt like
outside
every
of
time she
voices
got
too,
up,
like in Toy Kingdom with the
push her back
rockets, the
down.
explosion sounds
After
different.
24 stents, bypass grafts that failed, I had a massive heart attack. I knew that if I didn't have a transplant, I wasn't going to be around much longer, and my life was really quite miserable at that point.
One of the main things that I hear when I'm talking to my patients about just the transplant process in general is, I don't know that I can afford this.
Before I even got onto heart transplant, I was already financially compromised. I had been in and out of the hospital, used all my vacation time.
We have weekly biopsies, we have office visits, EKGs, lab work.
Every time I turned around, there was a copay. I was on a lot of meds prior to transplant.
You name it, the patients have to go through it. And nobody's insurance covers everything at 100%.
She's gonna die. Now, what are we gonna do?
And then Liz told me about Help Hope Live.
I incorporate Help Hope Live into every single one of my transplant evaluations.
Help Hope Live was awesome. You know, you're so overwhelmed by just everything that's hitting you. They make it easy. It's just easy. They show you, they walk you through it. I mean, you're still doing some of the work, but it's like a guide to fundraising.
I was absolutely, I'm not gonna lie, totally and completely resistant to fundraising. I felt like I worked my whole life. I worked hard since I was 14 years old. I didn't think I should have to fundraise.
She was not going to go down without a fight, and we were going to be by her side.
The beef and beer, which was huge. That was probably the biggest fundraiser we did.
Everybody came. We sold so many. I was worried that the venue was going to be too full. That's how many people came.
I couldn't believe it. Like all the people that came to support this fundraiser for me. I was like overwhelmed and touched.
We had numerous donations for gift baskets. And when I say numerous, I mean 50 plus gift baskets.
There was just like an astronomical amount of community support and love and all because I reached out.
The fact that Help Hope Live is a nonprofit organization and that it has a charity rating as high as it does is very important to me. To be able to say to my patients, this organization is out only to help you.
When people would donate personal checks, they would just make them right out to Help Hope Live, and there was no question that that's where the money was going.
They handled whatever money was given to me, and I could send them my hospital bills. In fact, the pharmacy sent my copay bill directly to them.
The ability to have a nonprofit be the face of the fundraising is imperative.
We got contributions from companies that they wanted the 501c3 form before they would contribute to us. They only contributed to nonprofits.
It was the strength. It ended up being the strength. It was the hands I needed that lifted me up and got me through a very, very difficult and could have been a very lonely time, but it wasn't.
Her recovery's been good.
What I look forward most now that she's healthy and back to living is just living life with her.
She's got another chapter in her life she can move forward with. And Help Hope Live and the heart donor made this happen.
People want to help. They just need to be told how.
Many a time she has called me and said, without this, I don't know what I would have done.
She told me, like, it's okay. I needed reassurance.
It's okay to ask. It's go after it, because otherwise nobody's going to give.
This is not something you do alone.
There's hope. There's a lot of hope. Just believe in it.
Alright, we're good now.
You good? Okay. Well, here's the last special stage. Thanks for watching, and thanks for playing the video, Polly. Alright, so back to the run. Credits are done. I decided to kind of just go ahead and just go to the next special stage. This is a pretty difficult special stage, actually. In fact, I already took a hit, which doesn't bode well. And I haven't done this in like 4 months, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't realize the credits were that short.
It's all good. Okay. So yeah, I'm actually using Sonic and Cream, so we're actually gonna see Cream for a bit in this run. So I can go into a bit of detail about how Cream's tag action works. So when Cream's tag action gives you control of cheese, which allows you to fire cheese at enemies and bosses.
Sonic's objection is that credits aren't fast enough.
Yeah, he was objecting to the credits. But when you also use Cream's tag action in the air, she kind of gives you a double jump. A lot of casuals kind of dismiss it as a not very useful one, because people tend to use it at the peak of your jump. But how Cream's tag action works in the air actually is that it amplifies your vertical speed. So basically, the more vertical speed you have at the time of her tag action, the more height you gain from it. So if you use it at the start of your jump, you get the most height of it. And you get an insane amount of height if you use it off of a spring, for example. So it's not as it doesn't give you quite as much height as Tails and Amy's tag action, but it makes up for it with giving you a lot more horizontal mobility. So it's kind of like, whereas Sonic's tag action is really good for pure horizontal mobility, Tails and Amy's are good for more vertical. Cream is kind of like decent at both, but not the best. So I need to go to the final boss again, and this is where we're gonna see Cream's high action kicking in. It's a really nice balance of navigating the hub world really quickly, and also being really reliable for the boss. So timing these jumps is really difficult because I have to release R or just after I press A. Ideally, I release the R button the frame after I press A, not the same time, to get the maximum height. Thankfully,
Also,
I don't need any max height jumps here, but it's still difficult.
I just gotta say, I love how cheese always matches the color of whoever you're playing.
Oh, yeah,
as,
it's
who
great.
Your partners.
It's very adorable. Sonic also has a homing attack when paired with Cream. Like, he has this this little attack here, that horizontal attack, but that turns into a homing attack if there's an enemy nearby. Knuckles also gets a homing attack in this game when paired with Cream. If you press B while gliding, you homing attack with Knuckles. It's kind of insane how you have all these little hidden movesets depending on your partner. Alright, so Cheese is ideal for this fight, but the problem with Cheese for this boss is that Cheese actually does not target Eggman during his iframes. So you can't actually buffer hitting him on the first possible frame like you can with just jumping into his hitbox. So I'm gonna use Cheese primarily as a safety. Or I can also die. Oh well.
Kirby fell down.
Kirby fell down.
Or in this case, more got crushed, but yeah.
Ugh, thought I got a ring there. This is a lot of speedrunners' favorite teams. Well, by speedrunners I mean me, Combo Blaze, and Worcester, because it's just a sick team to speedrun with. It's just too bad you don't see it get used much, because Cream is unlocked so late. Yeah, that grab attack from Gemroll ignores iframes, so that's how I got killed last time. That attack right there. Alright, let's try this again. This plays really safe. Keeps timing that. Okay. Alright, so now we can do the final boss of the game. The true final boss, which is a supersonic boss. And for this boss is gimmicky. You're supersonic and you're actually a partner with Eggman. This boss is a luck fest and it sucks.
Non-aggression.
Yep, you're going to pay for this. So the idea is that you want to kill non-aggression before his massive spinning attack, which costs a massive amount of time and is almost impossible to hit him reliably. To hit Gemroll, or non-aggression, you have to charge attack action with Eggman to open the weak point and then dash into it as supersonic. Now, this boss will basically do a number of hand attacks, then missiles, then a number of hand attacks, then a giant laser, and then a spin attack. The main random part is the hand attack. You can attack you with its arms between 1 to 5 times each, and I wanted to attack me as many times as possible to delay the spin attack. The ideal pattern is 5-5. The worst is 1-1.
Yeah, you don't want non-aggression to be unaggressive.
Yeah, exactly. You want it to be as aggressive as possible. There are other random factors in the fight, but the main ones are the arms. So we're gonna see how many arm attacks it gives me. This boss also takes 12 hits to kill. 1 attack! Awesome luck! So your hitbox is really massive. You have to play it really safe when trying to hit Eggman during, not Eggman, non-aggression during this attack, because your hitbox is just ridiculously huge. So arm attacks here. It's 1, 2. Got 2 attacks. That's pretty bad luck.
I mean, I've seen you have worse.
I've seen worse. The only possible worse is 1-1, and I've had that quite often. So this is a spinning attack you really want to avoid, but I got unlucky. I can squeeze in a semi-reliable hit here if I position this properly. Time will be coming up.
You spin me right round, baby,
Spin me
right
around. And hit. Time. Well, that was a bad fight, but hey, whatever. It happens. GG.
128.13 ish.
I think my estimate was 130, so hey, underestimate.
Yeah.
Underestimate.
Underestimate. Good enough, especially since I barely touched this game since HEDQ. Alright. So, we're gonna set up for the next game. I'm gonna use the restroom and get more water.
Yeah, and that's it for me. I gotta head to bed.
Thanks a lot, Alec, for staying up with me to commentate and have some fun.
No problem. Good luck in your rush run, and good luck to everyone else in the rest of the marathon.
Thanks a lot.